You post something on LinkedIn, it's gone a week later. You post something on Facebook, it's gone the next day. So there's a huge shelf life on YouTube. And so investing that time might be, well, it is going to be more than you would to like type up a post and put it on LinkedIn. But you have to think of the benefits of that. It's going to be out there for months, for years. I'm still getting views, comments, likes, subscribers on videos I posted 2, 3, 4 years ago. Tell me that's not an ROI.
Oh yes, this is the Hardcore Marketing Show. I'm Casey Cheshire, your host for this epic journey. Today's show is sponsored by Ringmaster, on a mission to launch B2B podcasts that create relationships, generate revenue, and drive growth. Ringmasterlive.com. Bam. All right, we're doing this. I am so excited for you all to re-meet someone. That's right, a guest from many episodes ago. In fact, episode 162, if you want to hear her backstory and find out where she came from. This guest is amazing, and we are about to partake in a masterclass. So, well, who is she? Who is she, Casey? Well, marketing strategist, thought leader, entrepreneur, speaker, author, and video confidence coach. I got to tell you, her methodology and her strategies have generated hundreds of thousands of views for female entrepreneurs over 40. Amazing stuff. Amazing things that are going on here. Podcast host of Video Marketing Made Simple, two-time #1 international best-selling author, co-author of Unstoppable 4 and Radical Freedom. Those titles just make me want to go get them now. Founder and CEO of Ken K Marketing, Vicki O'Neill. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Casey. That was quite an intro. I was sitting here smiling going, oh my gosh.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it's not like you did nothing between episode 162 and today.
Exactly.
You have been crushing it. So I'm excited to pass you this thing. I don't even know if we had the physical one back then, but here it is. It's heavy. Okay, you're good. Grab Thor's hammer. You got it?
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
Take that and smash for me some kind of marketing myth, bogus strategy, misconception. Set the record straight once and for all.
All right, great. Well, since I am focusing on YouTube these days, I think it's important to smash a really big myth. And that is that when you're uploading videos to YouTube, you just need to upload them and just kind of walk away. Let them do the magic, right? Now, the algorithm on YouTube is quite magical, but there is other things that need to do, in particular about SEO. So we know that YouTube is owned by Google. So we've got the #1 search engine, you've got the #2 search engine, you've got double the power. That in itself is amazing. So really tapping into the power of SEO with both search engines and keeping in mind that alone, it is not a social media platform, a search engine. So it operates completely different than your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram, all those. So with YouTube, it is really important to put emphasis on SEO. So what that means is there's all kinds of different ways that you can do this. In fact, I did a video about this, like before you even upload your video. So to break it down, we all know about titles, right? So titles are really important. Before going into even scripting your video, before recording your video, it's important to pick out like, what are those 1 to 2 keywords that you're going to be talking about? When you know what those are, then you want to make sure that they're in your title, they're in your thumbnail, they're in your video file name, they're in your description, they're in your script. Like, it needs to be everywhere. And those are all really key components to like the SEO part of creating videos for YouTube.
What makes a good title?
A good title is something that is like intriguing. I always say it's not clickbait, but it's clickbaity. So it's completely legit. You're not trying to like bait people with inaccurate information. If I'm talking about a video of, here's what to do before you upload your YouTube video to leverage, SEO, I'm not going to say, I've talked to Gary Vaynerchuk and here's what he says you need to do just to get views, because it's completely inaccurate unless I actually talk to him. Or if I've got clips from him that I'm including in my video, that's completely legit. But you don't want to use a title that's not going to follow through with the promise that you gave people from the thumbnail and the title, that they said, okay, the thumbnail is actually the most important because we're visual beings, right? So we like to see things visually, which is why video is so important. But the thumbnail, when you're searching, whether it's on your phone or your desktop, it's the first thing that you're going to look at. And it's because it's visual, it's going to grab your attention. Whatever's on there, you know, there's a rule of thumb, like rule of 3 for your thumbnail. And that is to have a face. It can be yours or it could be somebody else's. Again, don't put somebody's face on there if you're not, talking about them. The second thing is to have like a logo or an object or something like a visual component to it, like on the thumbnail as well. And then have like no more than 4 words. So the words on your thumbnail should not be the same as your title. That's another thing that people think. Well, maybe I need to put my title on my thumbnail and make them consistent. When really the thought behind that is when you're looking at your thumbnail, you need to use words that are going to help bridge the gap where somebody is now and then what they can expect in your video. So it kind of gets them thinking, that's really interesting. Then they're going to look at your title. So your title needs to support whatever the thumbnail is, but you've got words that you can use, and those need to be searchable. But it also needs to be something interesting, because if your thumbnail and your title don't work together and they're not interesting, nobody's going to click on it. And if nobody's going to click on it, then it makes your video pointless.
Let's make this super meta and also practical. What would you call this podcast episode? And what words do you think you would put on the thumbnail?
So we're talking about breaking. We could put on, let me think through if it would be the thumbnail or the title, because believe it or not, there's a lot of thought that goes into both of those. No, this is off the cuff. And I would say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Imagine this.
Imagine.
You're creating a storyboard. So I would say, what were we saying? Breaking the myth?
Yeah. Or smash or break. Or...
Smashing. So you could say smashing the YouTube SEO myth.
Ooh.
And then on the thumbnail, you could even do like your Thor hammer. Then it could be like even both of our faces to show that it's, a conversation. And then the words you could use would be like myth buster, or, kind of look it up and see if there's something else that's similar to that would complement what you're using in the title.
So would you say like YouTube SEO busted, or?
You could use, well, we're already using the Thor hammer. You could use a Thor hammer, or if you're specifically talking about YouTube like we are, you could use like the YouTube, just the icon, blue icon, or I'm sorry, the red icon. Use that to show that it's specific to YouTube. And then you could say like busting this. So you don't say what it is, right? So then they're like, what are you busting? Are you breaking something? Are you, so it kind of like creates that intrigue. Then they look at the title, you're saying busting this. So your title might be, instead of using actual myth in there, it could be 3 things you might be doing that's killing your channel. So something like that. So now you've got this whole like creating intrigue.
That's more than 4 words.
No, that would be the title.
Oh, that's a title. Okay. That's an alternative title. 3 things. We also do a promo clip. So I guess there's options of like, trying out different titles in different places,
Yeah. And you can try like a title for like 24 hours and see like in your analytics, you've probably seen this before too. In your analytics, it'll rank your videos 1 of 10. So if it's not number 1, like within the first 12 hours, then you can always switch the title, switch the thumbnail, mix it up, and see if you can like improve the rankings of it.
Wow. If you do that, does it trigger anything with YouTube so that they maybe give it another shot, or no, but maybe the humans will give it a shot this time?
The algorithm will too, because that's still in that window where it's trying to figure out, like, who is this gonna resonate with and who's gonna interact with it. So YouTube, the reason why YouTube's so different than social media is that social media, like, you're pushing your content out, and then depending on who's interacted with it before, how long ago, what type it was, like, there's all these different pieces, so you're pretty much in control of, who might see it. YouTube's all about people who are searching for information. So it's the opposite. I go to YouTube because I'm looking for information on, I keep using this example, and I don't know why it keeps popping in my head, how to start an in-home garden. I don't know. I have no clue. So I'm going to go to YouTube, and because I'm typing in, how do you start an in-home garden? I'm creating that request to send, I'm requesting information be sent to me. And then so all of this information's out there. And then when someone submits a request, that's when it gets pulled to me. Versus social media, I'm pushing it out saying, hey, look at my stuff, look at my stuff. Completely different. That's why I always recommend to somebody that if they're on Facebook or LinkedIn, then, if you're on Facebook, get out of the Meta family and go to either LinkedIn or YouTube or TikTok someplace. And same thing with LinkedIn. YouTube's a really good complement to LinkedIn just because it's a completely different animal and a completely different audience.
That makes total sense. I YouTube searched that phrase you just talked about, and I recommend people listening, give this a whirl. How do you start an in-home garden? And then check out the different examples. And the ones that Vicki, like, followed her best practices look way more appealing, like a couple words. One just has like a picture of fruit and stuff. That's cool. But there's one that catches my eye that's like 1 hour step-by-step veggie garden. And they got a face like you're talking about. The guy's got his hands dirty. And that one just stood out to me. And then there's another one where there's how to start a low budget garden. This guy's smiling at me, holding his trays. And this other one, how to start a vegetable garden, looks fancy, has the girl with cucumbers in her hand. Right. And the other ones, I'm not even talking about because they were lame. So I could see how, yet we had to show up first in the search, and then you got to earn that click.
Exactly. Earn it. That is correct. And I think what you're doing right there, Casey, and talking through that entire process about like what you did and what you're seeing is really important as a creator. Putting videos on YouTube is about thinking how people can find your information. So you were going through and looking at the thumbnails, right? And then you were looking at the titles and you're like, hey, this is interesting. So as a person who, if you're just getting on YouTube or if you have a channel and you're kind of like, I need to get back on that, one thing I would recommend is to do searches in your niche and look at what's interesting. What are people clicking on? What are people leaving comments on? What are those comments? And then really do a deep dive on those top creators. Like go to their channel. This is actually something I teach my students or anybody who works with me. So this is definitely something that, people can take action on. So go to those channels and, kind of do a deep dive into their content. Look at their thumbnails, look at their titles, look at, listen to the first, 30 seconds to a minute of their videos. What are they saying? What's that hook? What are the comments? What are people saying? What are they asking? So that's where you can get a lot of content ideas is like looking at those videos and then you look at the comments. People are asking questions. Did that creator answer the questions? Or is that an opportunity for you? Like, hey, I see a lot of people asking this question about how big should my in-home garden be? Or where should I play? What's the best location in my home for an in-home garden? And if somebody's not answering that, like, oh, okay, I could create a video about that.
Yeah. I see one right here, big white letters on this incredulous look. 10 things I wish I'd known before starting a vegetable garden. We all want to avoid that pain. It's got 1.2 million views. Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Yeah.
There's a reason.
To also look at the how long ago it was created. So when you're doing this research, like there could be one that looked really appealing from 7 years ago, which says a lot about the shelf life of videos on YouTube, right? You post something on LinkedIn, it's gone a week later. You post something on Facebook, it's gone the next day. So there's a huge shelf life on YouTube. And so investing that time might be, well, it is going to be more than you would to like type up a post and put it on LinkedIn. But you have to think of the benefits of that. it's going to be out there for months, for years. I'm still getting views, comments, likes, subscribers on videos I posted 2, 3, 4 years ago. Tell me that's not an ROI.
That is, and it's that long tail too, because it continues to go. Yeah, the one that I shared about the 10 things I wish, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So you're seeing it too.
Still ranking up high. That's crazy.
There's a lot of benefits to it. So once people can kind of get past that thought of, oh my gosh, I have to spend time creating a video. And it's a lot of that time's not in front of the camera. If you do your due diligence and plan it, then you're on camera, like you're going to have to do some retakes, I'm sure, but it's going to be a lot less time if you actually go through that process of planning the entire thing, get on camera, record it, and then, send it off to somebody else if you don't want to edit it. There's plenty of people on Fiverr, just, look it up and give them a try.
Totally, totally. Um, what about, you mentioned, I just want to go back to the changing the title and thumbnail. Is there a certain period of time where you look to do that? Would you do it a year later? Would you do it like a date later?
I'd say wait the first 12 hours and don't change it. And then after that, just kind of monitor it and see like if it's making an impact in the numbers. Like right now, there's a lot of videos I need to go back and update with both thumbnails and titles, but it hasn't been a priority. But I have heard other people who focus a lot of time and effort on YouTube. When they go back and do that, it kind of like refreshes and kind of like gets the energy behind that content again. So it will kind of give it another push, even though it's you making the changes versus somebody leaving comments. Because you have to think of the words that are in that title are still going to be searchable. So let's just say you might have seen people do this on YouTube as well, is that, they might create a video that says, here's what I would do if I was starting a YouTube channel in 2025. But if you go and look at the date that they originally posted, it might have been 2023. Nothing's changed. All they're doing is they're changing 2023 to 2024 to 2025 to make it more relevant.
Wow.
So can you see all the different ways that SEO kind of plays into this whole thing?
So just don't mention the year in the video, but change the year in the title.
Yeah, because the things are probably going to be exactly the same in that instance. And same thing with like the in-home garden example, if that's your niche, like how much, I don't know. So maybe there are things that change, but top level from an outsider in perspective, it doesn't seem like a lot would change.
No, it doesn't. Plants are plants are plants. Come on, people.
Yeah, come on. Soil.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still an ear of corn, people.
Grow that in your house.
Right. Well, that's true. That's true.
It'd be fun to watch.
Well, another question for you. Descriptions. We've talked a lot about titles and thumbnails and descriptions. Are they lame? Are they going away? Do we care about these as well? Do they help?
Yes, it's another part of the SEO component. Now, back in the day, we used to write like paragraphs, almost like a blog, in the description. No more. So that's the good news. I would just say like you have to think of it again from the viewer perspective. So when you go to watch a video, how often are you clicking on that more link to read the rest of the description?
Not often.
Exactly. So what I always advise clients to do is that first line and a half, those first 2 lines that are visible, above the clicking the more link, is to put your downloadable documents, the call to action. If you're getting started or if there's another video that you want them to view, make whatever that next step is as that first line.
Mm.
And that's going to be really important. Then put like maybe, a small paragraph, 2, 3 sentences underneath that, that have the keywords, right? So I would say in your description, have, anywhere between like, 5 and 8 instances of your keyword. And make it natural. You don't want to put in-home garden, you don't want that. You want it to be natural. Like if you're just beginning at, to start or start thinking about growing your own in-home garden, this will be a good video for you. Other people who've started their in-home gardens have done these things, so you want to make it natural, not like you're plugging it in there intentionally.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What about like you mentioned the keywords. What about like hashtags? Is that a thing?
Yes. So, well, anywhere between 3 and 8 hashtags, but the YouTube algorithm pays attention to the first 3 hashtags the most. So make those the ones that are most relevant to that video. But I mean, I don't think I've ever used more than 3 hashtags, but the other ones will have less weight, won't help as much. So it depends on how much effort and time you want to put it. I mean, it's not that much to type it out. So, and then also the tags. So you'll want to make sure that using tags as well. Um, there's a place in settings and then in the defaults menu of your channel where you can upload or enter in a key tag or tags that you're going to be using on every single video so that you don't have to retype them. So an example would be for mine, I always have my name and then I've got women over 40. I think it's starting a YouTube channel, uh, business growth, so whatever those are that are specific to your channel, have those in there. And then when you're uploading your video, then you'll put in the extra tags that are relevant to that particular video and that topic.
Okay. Sweet. Sweet. Uh, so we've got the hashtag, the description, the title. Does the content that's like spoken in it, are they like going through that as well? They're listening with their cryptic ears,
Yes, all of it.
all the things.
Yeah, all of the things all matters.
It all matters. Dang it.
Yes. So, when you turn on the closed caption, right, or the captions are on, you can see all the words.
Mhm.
So that's going to be really important. And the reason why I always tell my clients to plan ahead of time, because you want to make sure that you're incorporating those keywords and that everything aligns, your thumbnail, your title, your script, what you're actually saying, your description, like all those pieces have to work together in order to maximize the most opportunity to get seen by, a bigger audience. So what you say definitely does matter. Um, if you can put text on screen, so you might see like when you're watching a video and don't overdo it because all the over editing stuff is gone. Simple edits. You don't, if somebody's just getting started, they're like, I don't want to make all those fancy edits. Good. That's not what people are doing anymore. It's all about being super simple, being authentic, just being yourself, sharing your knowledge, showing up with your energy. Um, so just, kind of thinking through that text on screen, like where it's appropriate, but using your keywords, right? So it might be if you're talking about 3 tips for growing an in-home garden for beginners, you could have text on screen that says tip number 1 for in-home gardeners. I mean, it might be a bit much, but again, you're using your keywords and the text on screen. So that's another place. Also, which a lot of people don't know this, and it doesn't have a big part, but it's an important part of the SEO component, is your file name. So your video file name. And what I do is I just use my title as my file name.
And they're paying attention to that file name, huh?
Yeah. And the only thing is that once it's uploaded, you can't change it. So you got to think of that ahead of time.
You know what? And there's probably something to that, right? So you're like staking a claim. This is what we're talking about. I can't change it ever. I can change the title, but I can't change my file name. I definitely, I think sometimes that gets overlooked. You just like, oh, it's, blah, blah, blah. They're just, file number 2, but putting in the title, would you put the show name in or not really? Cause you don't really, that doesn't matter. You just need the title.
No, I would just put whatever the show name's about.
Okay. Because that can't change. Yeah, sneaky. Those rat bastards. Looking at all these different details.
There's all kinds of components.
Yeah, there's really something to it.
I love it.
Are there any other things we haven't talked about that are a part of the title? We've got the
So yeah, there's 8 or 9 of them. So we did title, thumbnail, file name, description, hashtags, tags, what you say, the text on screen. Oh, another one is creating chapters. So for anybody who doesn't know what those are, if you've ever watched a video and at the bottom, like where the red bar is scrolling saying how far you've gone along in the video, if you ever hover over that and it's got like those little hashes and then there's like descriptions, those play a part in your SEO as well. Great example was today. So I've got a video that I'm posting tomorrow. It's a short video. I had fun making it. It was a lot of fun making it. It's one of those character videos, where you play different parts. So it was fun. But I was trying to figure out how to get me playing both characters on screen at the same time, side by side, like we're talking to each other. So I searched for it and one of the videos popped up and it only has that part of the video highlighted. So it tells me what it is. It shows the video and it shows the chapter that it's in.
Oh, I get, yeah, 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 yeah.
So keywords search on Google, visual display of the video, only the chapter I was looking for. That's huge. But a lot of people, including myself, will not add the chapters because it's an extra step afterwards. And, we're too busy going on to something else.
Yeah, and I wonder how good, it depends on how long it is, but I wonder how good AI would be at indicating chapters on a pod.
There's an option in the upload screen where you have the option to have the chapters automatically added, but like you don't see the actual chapter. So I think it's still a work in progress. So I would say for now, as of the recording of this episode, to manually enter the chapters until it gets better, because then it might get better. That's what I would say.
Chapters, man. Oh, that good.
That's it. That's it with SEO.
We almost, yeah, but that is, you know what you're talking about. That is an impressive masterclass in optimizing that episode. What's your take on the shorts? Like do most of your videos go into the shorts, or do you do the little bit longer form versus the short form? What's your take on all that?
I think it's important if you're going to do long form, I think it's important to also do shorts with an asterisk. So I'll come back to that. If you're focusing only on short form video, then I say go all in. Like you need to be doing those. Like the rule of thumb is to do them like 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday, like one a day, which isn't a lot because, they're now YouTube shorts now are up to 3 minutes. So I don't know if you knew that or not. YouTube changed that in October of last year where they raised the ceiling. So now Instagram's done it too. Everybody's starting to follow. But there probably weren't a lot of people talking about because it was still kind of glitchy. So if you created a video that was vertical where you would think it was going to be in the short form feed, it would appear in just regular videos. And then sometimes, so it was just really glitchy, but they've got it figured out now. So if that's your path and you want to just do shorts, I say go all in, but actually if I were you, I would do more than one a day. I'd kind of go with like the TikTok or the Instagram reels, like when you're first getting started, like do two or three a day.
2 or 3 shorts a day?
Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't take the weekends off. I would do it like 7 days a week. That's if you're wanting to get that momentum and you're just like, hey, I really want to get some traction and I want to see the numbers climb. Like that's the way to do it. I prefer long form video just because it has a longer shelf life. And what I'm doing for the most part is, training, coaching, teaching in my videos. So for me, I just prefer the longer form videos, which are the ones that are horizontal. But then I will take some and chop them up using Opus Clip, the AI tool, create the clips for me. And then I'll use those on occasion. I don't do it with every video. But then I'll use those sometimes too.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Do you do that with your episodes?
Yeah, we do. We do at least one short, but you're inspiring me to do more shorts because like a lot of our shows are an hour long, or 40 or 50 minutes, like our combo here. And man, there's so many juicy things like even just thinking so far in this combo we've had, there's probably, I don't know, there's at least 8 shorts based on the different things you're right. So there's this rule of 3, you could short the hell out of this thing.
Yeah, and if you use the reason why I chose Opus Clip, some of the other ones might do it now, just not spent the time to actually do the research. But when you're having podcast, and this is the only reason why I did it, is because with podcast interviews where you got 2 people, Munch or Get Munch, which is one of the other AI tools, they might have changed it now, but I was using that one originally. And so the podcast episodes that I was doing with interviews, when you would do the short form videos, it would still put you side by side. So you have all this blank space above and below. I'm like, this looks ridiculous. So I tried it in Opus Clip and it puts you, even if you're side by side on your screen, it still puts you like this, top and bottom, automatically. So I was impressed by that. And so that was the reason why I went that direction. Plus, it had a lot of different options in the free version with like text on screen and colors that you could change and all that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Definitely check that out. That's cool.
I'll send you my affiliate link.
Yeah, please do. And we'll put it in the show notes.
Okay. Sounds good.
People can click on through.
Yeah.
But if you don't click on through, you're listening to this, then you're a rat bastard. You should click on it.
It's the same cost if you decide to upgrade regardless.
That's right. Throw some green.
That's
Some
right.
green at Vicki. She's giving you this amazing drop in the bucket of all the things that need to go into YouTube. But man, I feel okay. What about the classic phrase, which I try not to ever say, which is, hey, y'all, if you're listening to this, you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Do you say that every time? Do you not say that every time? You go, hey, don't forget to click on the bell so they let you know.
I do sometimes. I don't always. It seems like sometimes people, like the people who have like over 1 million subscribers, they're just like, don't say it. Let them do it naturally. If they like your content, they'll just go ahead and subscribe and like it anyway. And I'm like, all right, but if you're not 1 million and you're trying to grow your channel, so sometimes I'll just put it on screen and I won't say it. But saying it is a reminder as well, especially if you're using like what you're doing is you're creating a video and you're creating the audio for the actual podcast. So, somebody's listening to it on the podcast, it's not going to make any sense because they're not on YouTube. So it might just, it depends. I would say test it out and see what's really cool. I can't remember. I think it was 2 years ago when YouTube added this, but watch it the next time you're watching a video where somebody says that you're not subscribed and you haven't liked their video yet. But in fact, watching this one, you might see it. Anybody who's watching it and hasn't subscribed yet or liked it, we can say, like this video. And when you say that, there's like a colored line that actually is animated around the like button. And then the same thing with subscribe to this channel. It'll do the same thing. There's like an animated, like red or rainbow colored, light that essentially goes around it to be like, hey, here I am. I'm over here.
This is fascinating. If you're listening to this, you need to go to YouTube right now and search for this. If you know what, we'll make it easy. We'll put a link to the YouTube video in the show notes right at the top so you can get to it. Go check it out and click to this chapter where we talk about this. Like this video, subscribe. Let's see if we can make those things blink. Let's make them blink.
Make them blink.
I've often tried to say something weird like, why don't you just tickle that like button? Just give it a little, or smash it, or just murder it, as opposed to just click it. Clicking it's just so easy.
Murder that like button.
Murder that like button.
Yeah, there's a creator that I follow, and he says, "Boop the like button." Nate Black.
You say boop?
Boop. Yeah.
All right.
And so I watch it. I'm like, it doesn't light up though. Nate, you need to change that, dude.
That's a good point. It doesn't light up, but it sounds cool. So I don't know, which one would you go for? The one that lights it up or the one that sounds cool? It's a tough call.
Mix it up. See what happens. Then look at your subscriber counts from each of the videos. See which one was most impactful. Look at your metrics.
Spoken like a true marketer. Test it out. Try them both. See what happens.
Test it out.
Yeah. A/B test that. Let's go. Okay. All right. So we should mention, but yeah, if it's a audio podcast, yeah. Do you just make a super message? Hey, if you're listening to this, follow it. I don't know, it sounds weird.
It does. I always struggled with that too, because I'll do the videos and then I'm uploading it to the podcast and I'm like, I would typically say on the podcast, if I was recording it separately, I'd be like, welcome back to the Video Marketing Made Simple podcast. I'm your host. I don't do that in my YouTube videos. So if you listen to my podcast now, I don't say it. And I'm like, I don't know. Focusing on YouTube right now. That's just kind of like where I put it for the podcast.
Yeah, focus. You're right. A little bit of focus there. What about okay, so that's the subscribers. I've definitely seen that there's a shorts can drive subscribers, and I've seen that there's a stat that does it. Do you ever create content specifically to get more subscribers, or you just want like organically grow it from the value?
Yeah, I want to serve people who are looking for that type of information. Um, I get subscribers based on the type of content that I've created. So interestingly enough, I've done a lot of tutorials on my channel. So done a walkthrough of I think I did Opus Clip in one of them, but I mean that's just so fast. I think it was just part of like another video. Um, but I'm trying to think what the most recent one was. I've done CapCut, which is a free video editing tool that I always recommend to people, but I always preface it, and I will here too. It's owned by ByteDance, who also owns TikTok. So when TikTok went away, so did CapCut. And then it came back, but it took a little bit longer for it to come back. But anyway, it's a tool that is super easy to use. A lot of in the free version, so many different tools. It's good for Apple and Android, desktop and mobile. Like it's for everything. But I did an in-depth tutorial of CapCut, and this is one of the videos I still get views and subscribers from. Um, yeah, it was like I can't remember if it was like a 30 or 40-minute video. As of right now, of all my videos that are not hidden, and that's my highest one. When I look at like my top performing videos, they're tutorials. Should I change my channel to a tutorial channel? I'm like, this just now comments up.
It's just what is getting the attention right now. That makes total sense. Well, like I feel like in just a short amount of time, we have learned so much. And I know because you let me know that you are launching a course and you have it starting next week. And don't worry about the timeliness of this podcast. Whenever you hear this, it's next week for you, is when this course is starting. But specifically, you do have a synchronous course, a course that starts next week. Let's talk about it because you have already just given us so much knowledge for the people that hear this and go, we need to master this. Or you're an entrepreneur, and you're just trying to grow this thing. Where do they go? Let's talk about like what does this course involve? Like what are the goods?
What are the goods of this course?
Yeah. What's the skinny? What's the down low? Yeah.
It's a 6-week container, and the purpose of this particular program is to help set up a lead generation system for people who already have a YouTube channel. So I have a separate program for people who need to actually create a YouTube channel. It's like we're talking like baby steps because I know that YouTube's not their main job. They have other things to do. So I broke it up into tiny steps, and it's like a daily email drip. You get one thing each day to do over 14 days, including making your first 3 videos. So it gets a little bit more intensive towards the end. But this particular program, I wanted to focus on the real power of YouTube, which is all about lead generation. So a lot of times people think of YouTube and how you make money is through the AdSense program or through the YouTube Partner Program. But you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours within a rolling 365 days in order to apply. So it takes some time, but you don't have to wait that long to actually start monetizing your channel. You can actually do it from day one with your very first video. And so that's what I'm training on, how to set up a system so that with your first video and every video after that, you're going to start generating leads or sales, depending on what you want that link to be above that more link in your description. So I'm going to walk people through that. I'm coaching them. As of the recording of this, if they're watching it later, this is the first iteration of it. So it's going to be a little messy, which I'm perfectly fine with. But the good part about that, and the reason why I'm limiting it to 10 people is because it's going to be more intimate. So more hands-on from me. It's going to be like, hey, let's, figure out your particular situation versus if it was so big, I would be more removed from it because then it's just like, I'm going to train and then you guys can, talk amongst yourselves. So that's the reason why I wanted to limit it. But I just want to let anybody know if they do hear this and they reach out, they want to be a part of it. Just know that it's going to be messy. I've got the idea, I've got everything outlined, what it's going to entail. But if we get into it, we need to cover something else, then we'll cover something else.
Right. And that's key. Is this the best fit for people who already have a downloadable product or some sort of asset they can sell? Or do you help coach them through the creation of that?
I'll help coach them through the creation of that too. Yeah. So if they have one, great. I'll help you set up that system. But if you need to actually create them, then I'll help you do that too.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that's fantastic. Because I'm thinking of a few friends that have these. They have some courses created. They have some content. They have some things they can sell, and it's all about maximizing YouTube for that. And really think a lot about how do I do that? And it sounds like this course would be perfect for them. Yeah, it sounds like an infomercial, but I really truly believe it. Like, hey, like I've definitely had videos, and if you just put them up, it's not like the people randomly just come if you ignore all the things you're talking about. Like they just won't. And you'll be one of those videos with like 16 views 7 years later. And then Vicky's video has all the views because she actually did the work to do this. So that makes total sense. Okay. So how do people get in contact with you to get if you're on this course? And by the way, I heard it's, you mentioned limited, and I know that you have a couple spots left.
Yes.
So they should reach out and they might go on the wait list. So don't wait.
But be sure to mention Casey is the best. So I know that you found me through his podcast or YouTube videos.
Yes. And how much off is it if they say Casey is the best?
I think we agreed that it was $100,000 off.
Yes, $100,000 off the purchase price if you just simply mention the words, Casey is the best. And, that's my gift to you all to be able to afford this. But no, very cool. And we weren't going to mention the price because things may change, come and go, depending on what's happening. But at least they know if they listen to this, whatever that rack rate is, we just dropped the price on them $100,000. So maybe it's way more affordable.
Exactly. See, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no brainer. You're saving a part of a house worth of value by signing up for this. But yeah, and for the people that are serious about it, it is the way to go.
Yeah. So we can do a link in the show notes. Then if I give my name, then it's just going to be like, people are like, how do you spell it again? So I would just say LinkedIn, look me up that way under Vicki O'Neill. And then, we can connect that way. And then when you send me a connection request, let me know that you found me through Hardcore Marketing or through Casey.
Yeah, that'd be great. So LinkedIn, what we'll do is, because we've learned this on this pod, we will put a link to you and then a link to like the course itself on whatever links you want, but we'll put them at the top of the description. That's what we're going to do because that's what we learned here today.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm having people talk with me right now instead of having them go to a sales page.
Smart. Make sure they're a good fit.
Yeah, and I'm not going to put the calendar link there just because then they'll just be random people filling out my calendars.
You'll get the weirdest people.
I've done that before, trying to simplify it, and it actually does the opposite. So that's why I'm like, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me the message. When I know that that's where you found me from and you're interested in the program, that's when I'll send you the calendar link.
Love that. Totally love that. I'm excited. This is going to be a great course. There's some people I want to tell about this that have even asked me these questions. I'm excited to have them all listen to this episode. Vicki, thank you so much for coming back on here.
Thank you so much.
It's been so good to catch up with you, but like to really learn. I see why people are joining this course because you know what the hell you're talking about. And now I feel like I know just a little bit more than I did when I started here. And I'm just so excited about that.
That's awesome. That's the way I like to leave conversation. Leave it with giving more and hopefully somebody's learning something.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you for coming on here and just schooling us today.
Thank you so much for having me again. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome.
It has been. And if you're listening to this and you learned something, and I freaking know you did, because I literally have 2 pages of notes, front and back, And we know there's 8 things. And if you don't remember those 8 things, I hope you took some notes or maybe look in the descriptions or something. Or, just sign up for the course because you need to maximize your YouTube so that you can drive the results you were looking for in the first place. Otherwise, you're just investing time in clouds. So with that, definitely share it. Vicki, you are the best. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Casey. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, this is crazy. Crazy cool masterclass episode of the Hardcore Marketing Show. We will see you all next time.